Now I'm painting all of the inside surfaces of the box a matte black, and that's really important that it's a matte finish, as flat a black as you can find. This is just an acrylic paint, I picked up at the craft store. It's an old trick magicians have used for years and years and years, getting lots of mileage out of black. And what the flat black does is it absorbs all the light that might be going into this box and helps with the illusion. So just make sure you don't use glossy paint. Now is probably a good time to go ahead and put the hinges on, get them fitted correctly. I'm going to have to remove those to do some painting on this, but I wanted to get those in there now just to make sure everything's going to fit okay. And it looks like I need to shave down a little bit on the top here. So I picked up some white vinyl tape, and instead of painting stripes on the inside, I'm just going to lay it down, and it'll work out really nicely. I finished putting in these stripes, and they only are going to go on the bottom and the back surface, and then I'll be putting them, once I get the doors on, they'll fit on like that, and then I'll continue the stripes running down the doors. But I don't want to put those stripes on until I get that door mounted on there, so I can make sure that I get them evenly on there. So the stripes are really important because what they're going to do is really add to the illusion. It's kind of a psychological thing. If you look into a box like this and you see stripes going down, you're going to assume that they're going all the way to the back and then up. Of course, we're going to fool the viewer by putting a mirror halfway in here. So I got my two mirrors cut to the same dimensions. And what I'm going to do now is I need to prep those. I need to make sure they're smooth, and then I'll just go ahead and glue the two of them together like so, using epoxy. It's not going to take a lot of epoxy to hold these together. I just don't want them sliding around once they're inside of the box. So I'll just put a few dollops on each corner and carefully line it up and let it set. And of course now you can see how it's beginning to look. I've got the stripes all the way in, and I still haven't put the lid on. But wait, are you really seeing it, or are you seeing a reflection of those stripes? And there's the mirror. So it's a pretty decent illusion. Next thing I need to do is simply just glue this mirror down in there so it doesn't rattle around. I'm just using a brush to put a little bit of epoxy where the mirror, right here, meets the wood. And that'll just help hold it down and keep it from rattling around inside of the box. Yay, I can finally put the top onto the box. I've got the mirror in there, and I've put some glue on the top. Now I'm just going to carefully tack it in. Now I'm just making a little recession on the door to hold the magnet for the latch. It's kind of fun making knobs because I can look through all of my drawers and just kind of figure out things that are going to work. I keep all sorts of junk. In fact, I even have a container labeled assorted useless junk, and things that I've had probably since I was a teenager. But anyways, I did find these wooden beads that I used for a Christmas project a number of years ago. And if I combine that with these little brass rivets, I have no idea where I got these things, but if I put that together, I get that. And it's kind of a nice little knob, so I think that's what I'm going to use for the knobs for the doors. Okay, so I put a coat of white primer on both the box and the doors to begin with, and now I'm spray painting those really bright colors. I've got fluorescent orange for the box, and I've used the fluorescent yellow for the doors. And it's really important on this kind of magic box to get really bright colors for the outside, because those bright colors will just further distract the audience from seeing what's inside where it's very dark. Before applying the final coat, it's a good idea to take a really fine sandpaper, 220 or even finer, and just lightly sand down some of the little fibers. You can feel them once it's dry, and if you knock those down, then apply a final coat, you'll have a nice smooth finish. I'm really glad I got this all painted yesterday and I got it all finished and it's dry, because it's raining today and it looks like it's going to be a rainy March. So now I can come on in and work indoors. And this morning I went on my computer using Adobe Illustrator and just came up with some simple designs of stars, little shooting star designs that I'm going to apply to the sides of the boxes. And I'm not sure what I'm going to put on the doors yet. But I'll cut these out, and I printed them on label paper, and it just peels apart and I'll be able to stick those on. So I'm just peeling these little stars off after I've cut them all out, and I've just got these kind of laid down there and just trying to make a pattern out of them. But I gotta tell you, this is a real time-consuming process, and this is only my first side, so I still have 4 others, and then the 2 sides with the doors to do. But I'll get them. It's a good rainy day project. So now that I've got all the decorations put on the outside of the box, I need to seal those in so they're not going to peel off. And I'm going to use a product called Podge. It's used for decoupage, which is a craft technique, and you can pick this up at a craft store. And I have a sneaking suspicion that this stuff is really just white glue and maybe thinned down a little bit to where it dries clear. But anyways, you can just paint this right over any kind of paper and it'll seal it on in. So I'll put a few coats of this on. One of the neat things about using that decoupage glue finish is that after a lot of coats and once it's dry, you can actually rub it out to a nice smooth glossy finish the way you would lacquer or varnish. If you want to see my technique, you can watch the 7th video of my chessboard project, which really explains the whole process. But right now I've put finally a coat of paste wax on the outside of the box, and I'm just buffing it down to a shiny finish. And with the doors finally hinged in place, I can do the final step and apply this white tape to the inside of the doors. And there you have it. The magic box is complete. The hinges are on, all of the sides have a nice smooth finish, and I cleaned out the mirror with some glass cleaner. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and look forward to the next one.